हरि ओम। ओ ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गाये नमः। ओम श्री राम रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ॐ सहनाववतु सहना भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। भवानी शङ्करो वन्दे श्रद्धाविश्वासरूपिणो याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धा स्वान्तस्तमीश्वरम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। बुद्धेर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगताम् अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 ॐ नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वतीपतये। हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम हरि ओम। We are studying this last chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the 18th chapter, called Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. It begins with Arjuna's question regarding sannyas and tyaga, the meaning of these terms. So Bhagavan begins with the definition, and he says finally that one should never give up the kartavya karma, the yajna dana tapak karma, but dedicate them to the Supreme and perform with nishkam bhavana. It purifies our antakarana. One who does his kartavya karma, karyamitteva yat karma niyatam kriyate arjuna, sangam tektva phalancheva satyaga satviko mataha. This is also called satvik tyaga. So when we follow sincerely this path of karma yoga, our antakarana start becoming more and more pure. That is the internal result of karma yoga. Externally, whatever phala we may get, but our antakarana start becoming more and more pure. And when the antakarana becomes pure, there arises jidnyasa in us to understand, to know who am I, what is this world, who is Ishvara. So with the Shuddha Antakarana and with Jidnyasa, when we approach a teacher, we do the Shravan of the Shastra from the teacher, then we contemplate on what we have heard, and through what you call intense and long contemplation, finally we come to understand that I am Brahma. We gain that conviction that I am Atma, Brahma, this Atma, this Sushupta Atma, this innermost self, the Pratyekatma, this witness of all the activities, the Kshetrajna, this Atma is Brahma. That conviction happens. And with this conviction, when we renounce the actions and practice nididhyasan, we gain abidance in our own self. We become free of all bondage. Though the physical body continues to exist, but we gain that Jivan Mukti, and such a Mukta person neither hates Kamya karma nor likes good karma. He becomes free from all bondage towards all karmas. Otherwise, we remain bound to this karma and they keep giving us result. So we are born again and again because of our karma and the vasanas. We are born again and again in different life forms. But when we come to understand that I am that Atma, I, the Atma, is Brahma, and I am not the doer of any actions, nor am I the enjoyer of any actions, any results, nor am I the knower, I become free. So how the actions happen, what is the cause for action? If Atma is not the doer, what makes the action happens? So Bhagavan indicated the 5 causes of action. Adhishthanam tatha karta karanam cha prathak vidham vividhascha prathak cheshta ha daivam chaivatra panchamam. The adhishthanam, the body, then the karta, the notion that I am the doer, Then Karanam, the various instruments like Karmendriyas, Jnanendriyas, Antakarana. Then Vividhascha Prathak Cheshta, then there are various activities due to the presence of pranas. And Daivam, and the Daiva, the Devatas who resides in this equipments, all of them put together make the action possible. Whether the actions are sharirik, vachik or manasik, for all actions, whether they are good or bad, for all actions, these are the 5 causes. But these 5 are not the Atma. The 5 are just expressions of Prakriti, they are not Atma. Tatraivam sati kartaram atmanam kevalam tu yaha. Even though this is very clear, all actions are happening due to these 5, but still due to ignorance, one who considers himself as the doer, one who considers his own self as the doer, such a person really doesn't see properly, doesn't recognize properly. Bhagwan calls such a person akrita buddhi. His buddhi is not purified, his buddhi has not become pure, therefore he doesn't see properly. His buddhi is durmati, he is defective, having durgunas, kutsita, viparita, dushta, ajashram, janana, marana, pratipatti, hetu, bhuta, matihi. The buddhi is becomes the cause for countless lives because of its impurity, because of its wrong notion. See, whether we have ignorance or whether we have knowledge, it is associated with the buddhi only. So wrong notions are also there in the buddhi, and these wrong notions keep the person tied down to this samsara. Just as the moon, which is one, but if there is defect in the eyes, it appears two. Similarly, because of the defect of the buddhi, that one Atma itself is not understood and is appeared to be many. Also, when the clouds are moving, the moon appears to be moving, but moon doesn't move. Similarly, the Atma doesn't move, the body moves, the mind moves, but one gets this wrong understanding that Atma is moving. So these are all the effect of avidya, which causes this strong notion that I am the doer, and this doership notion keeps me bound to this samsara. This doership notion is in the buddhi. So when I go to sleep, means in the deep sleep state, when I am cut off from this buddhi, that wrong notion is not there. But when the buddhi wakes up, again it appears. Means it is not eliminated in deep sleep. Means even in deep sleep, though one has become one with that Brahma, but when the buddhi wakes up, the wrong notion again wakes up. Therefore, one should eliminate this wrong notion from the buddhi in the waking state itself. That is the purpose of all our sadhana. So first, through karma yoga, we purify the buddhi, and thereafter, through Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasan, remove this false notion that I am the doer and gain abidance in my real self. So one who has purified the buddhi and has gained this proper understanding, one whose buddhi has become pure. So what is the lakshana of such a person? So kaha punaha sumati ya samyak pashyati iti. Who is the one who has got purified buddhi and sees the thing as it is? That is being described now in the following verse number 17. Very beautiful and important verse number 17. Let us chant. Yasyat nahankrito bhavaha buddhiryasya na lipyate hatva pisaimal lokan nahanti na nibadhyate. Bhagavan says ki yasya, for a person, for a seeker, whose buddhi doesn't have that notion, na bhavaha, doesn't have this notion. What notion? Notion means knowledge, understanding. What? Aham kritaha, that I am the doer. Means in the person's buddhi, this wrong notion that I am doer is not there. And therefore the buddhi yasya na lipyate, doesn't get identified, doesn't get attached, doesn't get contaminated by anything. The buddhi becomes absolutely pure. It doesn't get contaminated by anything. Such a person becomes free. Bhagavan, in praise of such a person, says that hatva pi sa iman lokan, that even if through the body of this person destruction of this whole world happens, it will not happen like that, but even if he destroys the whole world, hatva pi sa iman lokan, but really speaking, na hanti, he is not destroying, he is not killing anyone, and na nibadhyate, and is not bound. So this is the ultimate aim and goal of all our sadhana. We become free of the sense of doership and gain abidance in our own self. Okay? So let us contemplate and understand this. Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji, in his commentary, he writes, what does it mean that a person is free from the notion that I am the doer? Shankaracharya ji, he says, कि यस्य शास्त्र आचार्य उपदेश न्याय संस्कृत आत्मनः न भवति अहंकृतः अहम कर्ता इति एवं लक्षणो भावः भावना प्रत्ययः. Bhagavan says, Shankaracharya ji, that one whose buddhi has become so pure, Sanskrita. See, through our karma, we can achieve a lot of things. So what can we achieve through karma? We can create something new. For example, the mud is there. With my effort, I can create a pot. So with action, I create a pot. So utpadyam it is called, we can create something. Or if a pot is already there, through action I can break the pot also. or spoil the pot. It's called vikar. Or through action I can beautify the pot. I can paint it, give it nice colors and all from outside and beautiful designs and all. So that is called samskar. Pot is already there. We can add or remove something to beautify it. Or through action we can go to a place. I am here putting forth effort. I can go to another town, another city. So all this can be achieved through action. Technically it is called utpadya, vikarya, samskarya, what do you call, to reach somewhere. So this buddhi which we have, it has to be purified with karma, with effort. And what we don't have to create the buddhi, it is already there. It is being created by, it is the result of prakriti. So we already have a buddhi which we are carrying from our infinite past lives. So it is already there. Don't have to create it. Don't have to spoil it. Already we are spoiling it actually through our action, through our wrong notions. We have polluted the buddhi very badly. We don't have to, through action, reach somewhere, go to some other loka, go to Svargalok and all. Not required. Wherever we are, there itself we should put forth effort to purify this buddhi. That's called samskarya. उसको अच्छे संस्कार देकर उसे शुद्ध करना है बुद्धि को. So how is it done? Through action. So first we begin with the actions at the level of the body itself. All different types of actions which are mentioned, we have seen yajna, dana, tapak, karma. But at the physical level we can do a lot of seva and other sharirik tapas and all. So all these karmas, they purify the buddhi. Then we can do some subtler sadhana at the level of our speech, like chant Bhagwan's name, sing some bhajans, do some parayan. So through our speech, speak the truth, satyam, anudvegakaram vakyam, priyam. So that again further purifies our buddhi. Then we have to do karma with our mind, our buddhi itself, to make it further pure. Like the karma of shravanam, listening to the shastras, contemplating on them. So contemplating, thinking about the shastra is also a mansik karma only. And also doing various types of upasana, various types of dhyana, they are also mansik karma. Imagining something and meditating and taking the guidance of the shastras, and when we meditate, do dhyana, it further purifies our buddhi. So one who has purified this buddhi through all this sadhana, Shankaracharya ji says ki shastra acharya upadesha. One should purify the buddhi with the upadesha, the advice given by shastra and acharya. Means the shastra, the scriptures, and the teacher gives us upadesh, gives us spiritual advice. And when we sincerely follow this advice, purifies our buddhi. Also through nyaya, through rational thinking, contemplation, our buddhi start becoming more and more pure. As I said, that buddhi by nature is pure. But due to our wrong actions in so many lifetimes, the buddhi has become very, very polluted. But we have to purify through actions. So through all this, when the buddhi becomes absolutely pure, then what is the sign? How do we know the buddhi has become pure? Through Shravan, Manan, etc. Bhagavan says कि न भवति अहंकृतः अहम कर्ता इति लक्षणो भावः. That notion that I am the doer gets dissolved. Because I am the doer is a false notion which is there in our buddhi. It is there because of the avidya, anadi avidya. Not knowing myself that I am Brahma is called avidya, and due to avidya, the buddhi thinks wrongly that I am the antakarana, I am the sharira, I am the indriyas, and whatever karmas happening at the level of the body, the senses, etc. It is wrongly understood as I am doing them. But really speaking, I am not doing them. But there is a misunderstanding that I am doing these karmas. So, this buddhi is an upadhi of this Atma, and the activities of the buddhi, activities of the mind, the senses, the body, all of them are upadhis. They are falsely understood as activities of the Atma. Now let us try to understand what is the meaning of this term upadhis. See, as we have seen, that the world is an expression of Prakriti, Bhagwan's Prakriti. So that Prakriti itself expresses as this world. So this Prakriti, which is expressing as this world, also expressing as my body, mind, intellect, is like a upadhi of that Atma. I am associated with this body, with this mind, with this intellect. So because of this close association, whatever the nature of this body-mind appears to be my nature, though I am different from them. So let me give you some example. Our famous example of this pot. Okay. See, even though you have listened to this before, listen again as though you are listening for the first time. That is how we come to understand the depth of the teaching. So this body, this pot is like the gross physical body, our gross physical body. And this thing inside, having 19 parts, Pancha Karmendriyas, Pancha Jnanendriyas, Pancha Prana, Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankar, they are like the Sukshma Sharir, which is there inside this gross physical body. And Atma is like the space in this pot. The space inside this pot is like Atma, which is also called Antaratma, which is also called Pratyak Atma. Pratyak means innermost Atma. It is also called Kshetrajna, and it is also called Jiva. All these are various names of this, you can say, the space, okay, inside this pot. And the space everywhere is Brahma. Okay. So keep Brahma aside. So this Atma is like the space inside this pot. Now, this gross physical body, which is the product of Prakriti, and this subtle body, which is also product of Prakriti, they are like upadhis of this Atma. Means remaining close to the Atma, though different from the Atma, remaining close to the Atma appears to give its qualities to the Atma. That's called upadhi. Again, to give another example. Now, this is there. Can see. So, this glass is there, and there is orange liquid in this glass. Okay. The glass is colorless. The orange color is of the liquid. And this liquid is in the glass, associated with the glass. Because of this association, the glass appears to be of orange color. The glass is not orange. The glass appears to be orange because of its association with this liquid. So if you look at this glass, you will find that here you can see that orange color. But if you look on top, you will see the transparent glass. No colors. It is absolutely crystal clear. Because it is crystal clear, it assumes the color of whatever comes near it. Okay? So this liquid, orange liquid which is there, it is like our buddhi. Not only buddhi, but also our sharir, our man, our indriyas, everything. And because of their closeness to the Atma, one mistakes the Atma to be of the nature of the sharir, mana, buddhi. So, the sharir, man, buddhi are like the upadhis, different from Atma. I am that Atma. Activities happen in the Sharira. Activities happen in the Indriyas. Activity happens in the Antakarana. All of them are Upadhis. And the activities of these upadhis are falsely assumed to be the activities of the Atma. That is called adhyas, false knowledge. Okay? So, that the the buddhi, pure buddhi, is like pure water. Let me show you. I'm taking another glass. So this glass is there and water is there. The water is different from the glass. The movement of the water is not the movement of the glass. The water is different from the glass. But the beauty of this water is that it is as clear as the glass. So this water is like the buddhi, original buddhi, and the glass is like our Atma. But due to long passage of time and due to our faulty actions, our buddhi has become maligne. The color has come in the buddhi. So through our sadhana, we have to purify this buddhi. See, in that pure buddhi, when it is transparent, absolutely transparent, the self is recognized in that buddhi as aham asmi. When the buddhi is absolutely pure, in that buddhi, pure buddhi, that I is experienced as aham asmi. But when the buddhi becomes impure, then that aham asmi means I am, this vritti, this notion gets associated with the activities of the body, the mind, the senses, etc. And I assume, I get the wrong notion that I am the body, I am the mind, I am the intellect, I am the senses. So when the body is walking, I say I am walking. When the body is male, I say I am a man. Body is female, I say I am a woman. Body is young, I say I am young. Body is old, I say I am old. Then the eyes, when they see, I say I am seeing. Ears, when they hear, I say I am hearing. So that this I am is like a Shuddha Ahankar, identifies with the activities of the body, mind, and assumes them to be his own activity. That is how that adhyas, wrong notions, happen. And it has already happened. So I am thinking that I am a man, I am a woman, I am young, I am old, I am walking, talking, thinking, feeling. So the activities of the body, mind, intellect is taken to be my activity, as though I am doing them, and therefore I say I am the doer. So when I say means when the buddhi says that I am the doer, this is called a doership notion, which is a wrong notion. Then when the senses know something, when my eyes see, it forms an image in my antakarana and I say that I know. So that knowledge also is an activity of the senses, of the antakarana. But those activities are again assumed to be my activity and I say I am the knower. So the knowership notion is created in me. Then when there is experience of joys and sorrows, which are also vrittis in our antakarana, sukham, dukkham, they are all kshetra dharma. And I say that I am happy, I am unhappy. So I assume myself to be the experiencer of the different results of karma. Means I consider myself as the bhokta, experiencer. This is also a false notion. So I have these three false notions. That I am the doer, I am the knower, and I am the enjoyer. It's like in the pure glass of water, I am the glass. But in this, that when that pure water is there, only the notion that pure water is like buddhi, there is only the notion that I am. But when it starts becoming more and more impure, it assumes the notion that I am the doer, I am the knower, I am the enjoyer. Okay? So that I am is really that Atma. But due to these wrong notions, that I am gets colored with the activities of the body, mind, senses, etc. That itself is called the impurities. And as long as this Dantakarana is impure, it is very difficult to comprehend that I am that Shuddha Atma. Though I experience in my deep sleep state, so this top portion is like the deep sleep state separated from the body, mind, intellect, where only the Shuddha Atma alone remains. But again, when one wakes up, one experiences the impurities. So through our sadhana, when we do our sadhana and the buddhi becomes more and more pure, the buddhi becomes as pure, as clear as a clean water. Though that water is different from the glass, though buddhi is different from Atma, but that buddhi has become so pure, it is as clear as that Atma. So in that clear buddhi, understanding that I am becomes very clear. And through the blessings of the teacher and the scriptures, when I understand this I am is Brahma, the understanding becomes supremely clear. And through Nididhyasan, I gain abidance in myself. I can cut off from this buddhi. I can separate myself from the waters, that is the buddhi, and gain identification, gain abidance in my own self. So, it's very interesting. So Bhagavan says here, कि one who has done all this, one who has through his sadhana made his buddhi pure, crystal clear. What sadhana? Shastra Acharya Upadesha Nyaya Sanskritatmanaha. By listening to the Shastras, by listening to his teacher, who is well adept in the Shastras, by contemplating using rational, logical thinking, one who has purified his antakarana, this notion that I am the doer just drops off. See, what do we mean when we say I am the doer? Suppose the body is walking, I say I am walking. So what is involved in that? The legs are moving, the pranas are getting activated within, the thinking is happening in our mind, the intellect takes the decision. So all this is happening in the field of Prakriti only. But I say I am walking. Because of this, the activities of the upadhis are misunderstood to be activities of the Atma. See, let me give another example. Like space. The space, Akash. What is the color of Akash? Akash has got no colors. What is the activity of Akash? Akash doesn't do any activity. So Akash is colorless. Akash is one. There are not too many Akash. There is only one Akash. But when we look up in the sky, we see nice blue color. And we say, oh, the sky is blue. So this statement, the sky is blue, is a wrong statement. The sky is not blue because there no colors are there in sky. Sky is not of blue color. But because of the association of dust in space and because of the play of the light, the blue color is seen and we falsely imagine that the sky is blue. But those who can contemplate, understand, they will know that sky is not blue. Blue is just a color which we have assumed on the sky. Just like this glass is colorless, the color belongs to this liquid inside, which is different from that glass. Similarly, the color blue is different from sky. But because of its closeness, association, we think the sky is blue. Similarly, the Atma is not a doer. Atma is not an enjoyer. Atma is not a knower. But because of its closeness with the upadhis, the sharir, mana, buddhi, the stula sharir and sukshma sharir are like the upadhis. And not understanding the difference between Atma and these upadhis, not understanding, not doing that vivek, Atma Anatma vivek properly, one mistakes the qualities of the upadhis to be the qualities of Atma and assumes the qualities of Atma to be the qualities of the upadhis. And this misunderstanding is called adhyas, which is created by our buddhi. The waking person identified with this buddhi gets this notion. Okay. So, through all our sadhana, when we can understand, when we can do this vivek, so all these activities which happen is happening in the stula sharir. But I am not the stula sharir. Activities are happening in the sukshma sharir. I am not the sukshma sharir. How do I know I am not the sukshma sharir? I remain separated from them in deep sleep. So I am not the doer of actions. Again, to focus attention on the knowing, I say I know. So in the waking state I know. In the dream I say I know. But this knowing in the waking and knowing in the dream happens because of association with the senses and the mind. But in deep sleep, I am not a knower. That is my real self. Again, when I am identified with the body, mind, senses, I say I am enjoying, I am happy, I am unhappy. But when I am dissociated with them, when I am in that deep sleep, I am neither happy nor am I unhappy. There is no enjoying, there is no sense of enjoyership there. So one who has done deep contemplation and has understood that I am not the doer, that is what is said in this shloka. It's a very deep shloka. So yasya na ahankritah bhavaha. Bhagavan says one who doesn't have this bhava, this notion. What notion? That ahankritah, that I am the karta. Since this notion is not there, therefore there is no association with these activities of the body, mind, etc. So buddhir yasyana lipyate, the buddhi doesn't get contaminated through the association, to identification with these activities and the qualities of body, mind, etc. So buddhir yasyana lipyate, buddhihi, Shankaracharya ji writes, कि one who doesn't have this notion that I am the doer, एते एव पंचाधिष्ठानादयः अविद्यया आत्मनि कल्पिताः सर्वकर्मणां कर्तारः. That all these activities are done by these five, adhishthanam, tatha, karta, karanam, cha, pratak, vidam, and all we have seen. So one who knows that all activities are done by these five, and I, the Atma, is not the doer, aham tu tad vyaparanam sakshi bhutah. I am just a witness of these activities. See, in the space, when the clouds are moving, the space is not moving. The space is just a witness of this movement. The space is not blue. The space is pure, colorless. Similarly, that Atma is not the doer. The Shastras also say, Aprano yamana shubhraha aksharat paratap paraha. This Atma is different from these pranas, different from the mana, is pure, absolutely pure, beyond everything. Kevala avikriya iti evam pashyati, one who sees this Atma in this way. And buddhihi, one whose buddhi, that is antakarana, yasya atmanaha upadhi bhuta. This antakarana is like upadhi, separate from Atma, but as though gives its nature to that Atma. Just like this water, colored water is separate from this glass, but it makes the glass look colored. The glass is not colored. If I fill the whole glass with this water only, one will not know that the glass is colorless. Atma, if we only had Jagrat and Swapna Avastha, we would not have known that Atma is different from this Sthul and Sukshma Sharir. But because of the experience of deep sleep, we know that Atma is separate from Sthula and Sukshma Sharir. All the activities and qualities belong to the Sthula and Sukshma Sharir, not to the Atma. So the Sthula and Sukshma Sharir are called Upadhis. They are called Upadhis. And these Upadhis are there with us from beginningless time. So Buddhi Antakaranam Yasya Atmanaha Upadhi Bhuta. Shankaracharya ji writes, this Buddhi, which represents all Antakarana, is the Upadhi of this Atma. Na lipyate. When this Buddhi becomes pure, that misunderstanding doesn't happen in this Buddhi. Through our sadhana, we should make the Buddhi pure and give it proper understanding. The Buddhi should be made to understand that I am not the Buddhi, but I am that Atma. So Buddhi Antakaranam Yasya Atmanaha Upadhi Bhuta Na Lipyate Na Anushayini Bhavati Idam Aham Akarsham Tena Aham Narakam Gamishyami. So the Buddhi doesn't have this notion thereafter that, oh, I have done this wrong action, papa karma, because of which I will go to hell, or I have done this punya karma, because of which I will go to heaven. Such notions will not be there in Buddhi. Because these are all false notions. I am not a doer. I, the Atma, neither goes to heaven nor goes to hell. In fact, I don't go anywhere. I am all pervading, I am always there. So person becomes absolutely free from the sense of doership, knowership and enjoyership. Kartrutva, bhoktrutva, nyatrutva, bhava gets dissolved. And just to show the greatness of this, Bhagavan gives this example that even if this person kills the entire world, not that he will do it, but even if he does something absolutely wrong, he is really not doing that, nor will he get contaminated. If, like in this glass, instead of pure water, there is dirty water, absolutely dirty water, that will also not affect that glass. Glass is different from the waters. Like in sky, even if the sky is clear, means there are no clouds, or if it is filled with clouds and there is thundering and lightning happening in the cloud and lot of pollution, still the sky remains absolutely pure. Ki farak penda, sannu ki, aham brahmasmi, neva kinchit karomiti, yukto manneta tattvavita. Chidananda shivoham shivoham mano buddhyahankara chittani naham nacha shrotra jivve nacha ghrana netre nacha vyoma bhumir na tejo na vayuhu Chidananda shivoham shivoham Chidananda shivoham shivoham. That is what you really are. All of you who are listening, you are that absolutely marvelous Atma, that Shuddha Atma, who has identified with the body and thinks that I am the man, I am the woman, I am young, I am old, I am happy and I am unhappy, I am miserable. All these are nothing but adhyas, which has happened in the buddhi. And that buddhi has to be educated through our sadhana and made to when the buddhi becomes pure and gains the proper understanding that I am Brahma, one becomes free of the upadhis. Upadhis get dissolved. Atma is same when we think I am bound. Atma remains same when I think I am free. Atma is always free. But through our sadhana, we will get rid of these upadhis. Like when we are walking, sometimes we walk through some dirty road and all, and all this dirt gets accumulated on our body, our dress. So we just remove the dress and just clean ourselves. Bas. Become free of all this dirt. Similarly, I am Shuddha only, I am ever pure. But because of this association with this buddhi, the buddhi has got wrong notion. So through sadhana, when buddhi becomes pure and gets the right understanding, the whole upadhis get dissolved. And that itself is called moksha. So here in this verse, Bhagavan described that moksha. Okay? More about this we will see in our class tomorrow. So till then you take care, be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy. Do your work, do your sadhana, and listen to this pravachan again. Even if you say, no, I have understood, you may not have understood. So listen to it again and contemplate. Listen with a glass in your hand for the sake of understanding. Put some colored liquid in it. See how it looks. First you put clear water. So this glass is like Atma. That clear water is like Buddhi. But the colored water is like impure Buddhi. So when clear water is there, that clear Buddhi is there, in that only the pure Aham Vritti is there. Aham Asmi. But that is also Vritti, but it's nice. But when it gets associated with body, mind, intellect and assumes the activities of them as my own, becomes the Ahankar. So through right understanding, we have to dissolve this Ahankar. So we'll see more about this in our class tomorrow. Okay? So take care and see you tomorrow. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram. Jaya Jaya Ram. Bole Syavar Ramachandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Om Purnamada Purnamidaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.